capture some video again heading westbound where you can see all of the emergency crews. We know that they're working to rescue someone stuck beneath this bridge, and hopefully they're able to rescue that person. But you saw all of the crews as we were working to get to where we are now. We're at a weigh station. I spoke to a gentleman who's been here since yesterday afternoon who says he's had his CDL license for about 14 years now. He says this is something that just comes with the job of driving trucks across states. He says he actually needs to get to Memphis, but because of his weight limit, the only interstate that he is allowed to take the package to is I-40. So he needs to go eastbound. He's not able to do that because of the traffic, because of his weight limit. So as you can see behind me, it's affecting a lot of people this afternoon.
Definitely. And I know you said that you were talking to the gentleman and that he's been here since yesterday. And I'm sure that you can tell behind you all the vehicles that are kind of backed up in that mess that's going on right now. And one thing you worry about, I know he was mentioning when you talked to him at midday, was just saying hopefully they have something to drink, something to snack on, because they're probably going to be there for some time, right?
It's hot, Amanda. We've heard Patrick Ellis tell us about it all morning long. This heat is affecting all of us who are stuck in traffic and not stuck in traffic. I turned around because earlier I saw some people getting out of their cars. Can't imagine how long they've been here stuck in this same position. So some people getting out of their trucks and their cars just kind of stretching. But yeah, it's just affecting people being as patient as they can. But again, those westbound lanes are just moving right along. So if you need to go into Arkansas, there's no problem there.
And I know we talked to Dave Parker with RDOT a little bit earlier, and he was talking about that this is probably going to be like this for some time. And one thing that comes to mind is you hope that the people that are sitting in that traffic have enough gas. They don't run out of gas. And of course, you know, people have places to go. I know you talked to the truck driver out there. So Sydney, I know you're going to continue to work to get some more information, maybe talk to a few more people. But I appreciate you joining us here on the Digital Desk.
Sure.
So one thing I want to get to now is we're just getting some new information from the Memphis Police Department. They have posted to Twitter some preliminary info that we're now going to share with you. They were saying just before 10 o'clock this morning, they were notified by TDOT that there was a person that had gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge to the underneath side, walking on a platform. So MPD and the Memphis Fire Department working to make contact with that person right now. As we've mentioned and as you have been seeing, those eastbound lanes are closed and traffic has been delayed. This is emergency responders. This is a live look right now. Our photographer Adam Chrysler out there helping to document what's going on. But if you looked at a wider perspective of this, you could see just the volume of emergency responders that are out there on the bridge. And so right now, that's all the information we have available. You can see he widened out that shot there, and you can see the emergency responders right there right by the sign where it says "Welcome to Arkansas." That's the area that they're focused on right now as they continue to work on the situation as this unfolds. And of course, we are all hoping that the individual involved is able to get rescued safely. And I want to get another perspective because we continue to talk about the traffic and just how much of a mess this is. This is a live look from the RDOT traffic cameras. And you could see people even getting out of their car. They're on the side of the road, and it's just backed up pretty far. Let me close out of here so I can show you the map, and you can see just how far that backup is going. So you can see here that this is going all the way back. Let's take a look at this camera right here, right at the interchange there, if this camera will refresh. But as you can see, it's really causing a lot of delays for people, especially those truck drivers trying to transport products. You can see where the backup is coming all the way here to that interchange that we were talking about, starting to slow more people down. And of course, it is also causing congestion on the old bridge. So if you are planning on traveling to this area, let's take a look at just what's going on here. Yeah, you can see just at a crawl, barely getting by. All these vehicles trying to merge onto the road there, trying to take that alternate route if they can. You can even see on the bridge here, people crossing over that maybe were stuck in that traffic on I-40, now trying to make their way over to the I-55 bridge. So this is going to be a traffic nightmare for people if they're heading out of Arkansas into Memphis. And so we're just kind of getting showing you a perspective of just how broad the traffic is backed up. So we'll continue to follow that. Let's get out to another live look here. It looks like this is maybe a bucket truck. Another vehicle coming on. Okay, so the I-55 bridge, we were talking about traffic backing up there as well, outside of just the situation we're dealing with on the new bridge. And this is from an accident on I-55. So I was showing you that backup on I-55, the old bridge here, and when you click this open here, you can see there was an accident. We understand that this was, in fact, a deadly crash, and so not only are we dealing with that rescue situation on the I-40 bridge, but we're now also dealing with a fatal accident on the I-55 bridge. So traffic, oh, let's take a look here so you can see where that crash happened here, right near the I-55 bridge, right near that bridge Road exit, and it's blocked, completely blocked, so causing even more of an issue for people trying to get into the area. So again, if you are needing to travel across either of the bridges, it's probably going to be an issue for some time as they work to clear this accident here on the I-55 bridge, and also working to try to respond to this rescue situation. This is a look at the new bridge here, and it looks like they're bringing in even more manpower to try to help resolve this rescue situation. So if you're just joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk, I want to fill you in on what we know so far, what we're working on, what you're seeing here. This is the new bridge, the I-40 bridge, where crews are working to rescue a person that is said to be beneath the I-40 bridge. The Memphis Police Department just tweeting about 10 minutes ago some preliminary info saying they got the information just before 10 o'clock this morning. They were notified by TDOT. They were told that an individual had gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge and on the underneath side of the bridge, walking on a platform. So Memphis Police Department, the Memphis Fire Department, they jumped on board. They came out to respond to the situation. The eastbound lanes, as I mentioned, are closed. So if you are heading into Memphis from Arkansas, you are going to be dealing with traffic. You're going to be sitting in it for some time. It might be worth just holding off and waiting until we can find out some more information from what we understand from Dave Parker, that this is going to be closed. This area is going to be impacted for some time. Couldn't really give a good guesstimate as to when this will be cleared up. I'm working to get that phoner that we had just a little bit earlier from Dave Parker with RDOT, filling us in on what he could tell us so far. Obviously not a lot of information to share at this point, but what he could share with us, he did share with us on a phoner at midday, right at the end of midday. And again, this is a live look from the I-40 bridge. This is another angle. Our very own Sydney Hawkins has been out there talking with truck drivers at a weight station, I believe, that she was at, and you can see all those semis just sitting in traffic, hoping to eventually be able to start making their way to their destination. And let me get that other camera pulled up. We were looking at other cameras from RDOT, and it was interesting to see just all the vehicles backed up. There were even people that were getting out of their cars at that point just because of the time they'd been sitting in their vehicles. And obviously, the first thing I think about is, you know, running out of gas if you're sitting there. It's also a hot day, the air quality. Patrick has been talking about the air quality today not being its best. And so, again, you can see the traffic really piling up here, going all the way back to that interchange, the I-55, I-40 interchange in Arkansas. So let me see. We have this phoner now. So we take another live look, our camera zooming in here on the I-40 bridge. So I want to get to that phoner that we had on midday just about 30 minutes ago. We were able to talk to Dave Parker with RDOT. He is the public information officer with RDOT, sharing with us what he knew so far.
The eastbound lanes continue to be shut down on the I-40 Fernando de Soto Bridge. We got reports about an hour and a half ago that there was some debris on the roadway. We went and checked it out, and apparently there's a person somewhere on or near the bridge. And that's really about all I know right now. I only have reports that Memphis Fire were there. I would imagine both agencies from Memphis, police, and so forth are there. Maybe the West Memphis people, but I don't have confirmed reports of that. But it's a situation we're trying to get taken care of. So yeah, everyone is responding and trying to handle this in a safe and as quickly as we can. I mean, if you can take the 55 bridge, that would be about the only thing I could offer right now, and work your way, if you're heading east, work your way around Memphis that way. But it's going to be a while before it clears up. I can tell you that. If you look at I-Drive Arkansas, it's backed up quite a bit. And even when we reopen lanes, it's going to take a while just to get things back to normal.
And of course, you heard Dave Parker there talking about the alternate route being the I-55 bridge. Unfortunately, that is also not going to be the best option for people, because we have learned that there has been a deadly crash there heading into Memphis. We have some footage of that I'm going to pull up for you real quick. You can see here, this is from the RDOT live cameras, and you can see where traffic is being rerouted off of Bridgeport Road. And so really right now there's the only other alternate route to get into Memphis would, from what I understand, would be maybe going through Dyersburg, which would require people to go back up 55 heading into Missouri and then taking that route, which is well out of the way for these drivers if they're needing to get into the Memphis area to deliver their items. A lot of those truckers that are on the road, you can see them right there. So this is really just a traffic headache for so many people. And again, we are now learning that that crash here, you can see the scene, that it was in fact a deadly crash. And so right now, that's all the information we have about that. But it's just really the worst case scenario for people that are trying to travel into the Memphis area. Both bridges dealing with responding to emergency situations. And we keep watching. This is footage from the I-40 bridge where they're responding to a rescue situation, a person believed to be underneath the bridge. Memphis police saying that they were notified from TDOT that someone had gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge onto the underneath side of the bridge and that they were walking on a platform. So there's more. We lost our shot there. We'll go to Sydney Hawkins' shot here. Sydney Hawkins, her photographer out here also working to get some more information. She's been talking to truck drivers and people that have been impacted by this, and you can see traffic not moving at all, really just sitting there and just lined up for miles at this point. And just to give you some perspective, we're going to pull up the I-Drive Arkansas map. I know I keep referring to this, but this really helps to give you an idea of just how much of an impact this is having on people. And so, right here at that interchange where it splits off I-40 and I-55, you can see it's really starting to impact traffic so far back. So cars really sitting at a standstill. Like I said, they're not moving. They're also not moving on the I-55 bridge. So it's just a parking lot right now for those trying to get into Memphis from Arkansas. Now our camera's zooming in here. This is the new bridge. As I mentioned, they've called in more support here. This other vehicle that's been slowly easing its way back to the area that they are working to respond to a rescue situation. Let me see if I can pull up. I've been following TweetDeck, trying to see if I can get any new information for you. See if there's anything new that I can share with you. Let's see. Nope. Nothing new to report right now, but I do want to sit on this shot and kind of see what their next steps are going to be in response to this rescue situation. Okay, so those of you that are maybe just hopping on here, we are live on the Action News 5 digital desk. We're working to bring you the latest information on some breaking news that we first told you about during midday today. Crews working to respond to a rescue situation. A person, TDOT reports, was spotted going over the edge of the I-40 bridge to the underneath side and then walking on a platform. So you could see here Memphis Police, Memphis Fire responding. They've also called in, from what you can see with this additional vehicle here, some additional backup to try to resolve this situation. And I was showing you video of just the backup going all the way back to the interchange, the I-55, I-40 interchange in Arkansas, and it's said to be more than 10 miles. So 10 miles back, traffic's impacted. They're not moving at all. It's a parking lot. People are just kind of sitting there wondering when this might open for them. And so I was telling you that Sydney Hawkins, she had been out there trying to talk to people. She was at a wait station, I believe, possibly. And so she was talking to some of the truck drivers out there during midday. And one of them, she was asking, what advice would you give for people that are sitting in this traffic? And he just said, patience. Hopefully you have a snack, something to drink, because you're probably going to be sitting there for some time. He mentioned that as a truck driver, he'd been a truck driver for 14 years. So he's dealt with a lot during that time. And he says that stuff like this, these types of situations happen very often. And it's difficult when they're trying to transport goods. People want those items, and, any holdup can cause problems for their business. So, of course, it's difficult when you're driving a truck and trying to transport those items. I want to get to that interview, though, because I was telling you about it. We have that queued up from midday, and here's Sydney Hawkins.
We're heading into Arkansas. I want to show you the scene behind me. We passed all the emergency crews that the gentleman that you spoke with just told you about. Heading into Arkansas, you saw several fire department EMTs working to rescue that person. You also see traffic at a complete standstill. So if you're heading into Tennessee, if you're heading into Memphis, you will be stuck in traffic. Joining me this morning is a gentleman who drives trucks. He actually has to get into Memphis 1 o'clock. It doesn't look like you're going to make that deadline.
It does not. Been here since yesterday. Had to get some permits together, and got that together and thought I was going to get on the road and get out of here, but it's not going to happen. I mean, I've seen these trucks for the last at least hour or so parked right here in the same location, and saw some EMS and fire trucks going on there a little bit before 10 o'clock, and it's just might be late, might have to deliver tomorrow morning.
Tell me about the type of patience you have to have driving trucks. You said you've had your CDL license for 14 years now. Do you run into situations like this often? All
the time, and these are some of the things that some of it gets into consideration, but we as drivers feel like it's not taken consideration when things happen and people want stuff on time, and this happens and then they're upset because we're late, but things like this you can't pencil in.
So your message to people who are stuck in that traffic, we're all hoping that the person that they're hoping to rescue is okay. What's your message to the people who are in the traffic right now?
Just sit tight. I hope you got something to drink, something to snack on. And this is just something, like I said, that happens out here on the road, and when you're traveling in general across the U.S., especially around major cities, and when accidents or whatever happens, that you just gotta have some patience, a whole lot of patience, and just hope that, well, not just hope, but they are doing their job up there on the other end to get us back rolling.
All right, thank you, James. Yeah, so we're all hoping that the person that they're trying to rescue does get that rescue safely. This is a developing story. You can stick with Action News 5 as we work to bring you those developments. For now, I'm live in Memphis. Sydney Hawkins, Action News 5.
Yeah, stick with us. We're going to continue to follow this for the next little bit to bring you the very latest information. And they were talking about the backup and how bad this was. Here you go. This is a picture for you right now. I-40 at the I-40, I-55 Eastern Junction, and cars aren't moving at all. So this situation started just before 10 o'clock, 9:45. So for a little over 2.5 hours now, this has been what people have been dealing with. There's been people that have been sitting in this for over 2.5 hours. And so I mentioned this earlier, I think about running out of gas, if people need to use the restroom, food, it's hot outside. So I know this can be very frustrating for people that are trying to get to where they need to be. But again, we're just hoping that this emergency situation can be resolved safely And I know these people are ready to get moving. I want to bring you to that scene, though. This is a live look right now. This is the I-40 bridge, where we have been telling you that emergency responders are working to resolve a rescue situation. TDOT notified the Memphis Police Department just before 10 o'clock that there was an individual that was seen that went over the edge of the I-40 bridge to the underneath side, and that they were walking on a platform. So this is the scene right now. They've called in more backup, and this is what has shut down the I-40 bridge heading into Memphis from Arkansas for over 2.5 hours now. Traffic backed up well over 10 miles at this point, and it just continues to build and build and build. And we spoke to Dave Parker with RDOT, the communications, the public information officer, rather, for the Arkansas Department of Transportation, and he couldn't give us any indication as to when this will be resolved and when things will open back up. Obviously, this is an emergency situation. We're hoping it's resolved safely, and you can see the volume of emergency responders there. A few gentlemen there. It looks like they're looking over the bridge. They've brought in additional vehicles to help respond to this, and so we're just waiting to see what their next steps are going to be in order to try to resolve the issue. But again, this is a mess for people that's heading into Memphis from Arkansas, just a parking lot there, and this goes well back more than 10 miles. This is another angle here from the ground. Our crews there, Sydney Hawkins, working to find out some more information for us, maybe talk to some more individuals that are out here that are just waiting for this to maybe start moving again before they get back on the road. So again, this has been an emergency situation. Rescue crews, we were able to get information, preliminary information from the Memphis Police Department probably a little over 20 minutes ago. Essentially what I told you, that they got the word about this and rushed out there to that scene just around 9:47 this morning, so just before 10 o'clock. They got out there, and they've been working tirelessly since then, bringing in even more crews to try to respond to that situation. And so we're going to keep following it here for you, because I know a lot of people are impacted by this. They might have family members that are traveling into town, or individuals, like family members that are maybe working in Arkansas trying to get back into Tennessee. You can see off, it looks like there maybe even is a drone out there trying to get some footage of what's going on out there. So again, I want to get to an interview. I'm going to play it again for those of you that are maybe just hopping on here and wanting to know what's going on, the latest information. We talked to Dave Parker, the public information officer with RDOT during midday. Here's what he had to say about the whole ordeal.
The eastbound lanes continue to be shut down on the I-40 Fernando DeSoto Bridge. We got reports about an hour and a half ago that there was some debris on the roadway. We went and checked it out, and apparently there's a person somewhere on or near the bridge. That's really about all I know right now. I only have reports that Memphis Fire were there. I would imagine both agencies from Memphis, police, and so forth are there. Maybe the West Memphis people, but I don't have confirmed reports of that. But it's a situation we're trying to get taken care of. So yeah, everyone is responding and trying to handle this in a safe and as quickly as we can. I mean, if you can take the 55 bridge, that would be about the only thing I could offer right now, and work your way, if you're heading east, work your way around Memphis that way. But it's going to be a while before it clears up. I can tell you that. If you look at I-Drive Arkansas, it's backed up quite a bit. And even when we reopen lanes, it's going to take a while just to get things back to normal.
All right, I want to get back out to that live shot. I'm working to try to see if I can get some more information for you. I'm going to leave you here on this shot as emergency responders are trying to facilitate the next steps in this rescue of an individual that's said to have gone over the I-40 bridge onto the underneath side of the bridge on a platform. So I'm going to sit here for a second. I'm going to try to see if I can get some more information for you, maybe pull up some additional traffic information. So I'm going to let you kind of see what's happening and what their next steps are in this rescue. All right, some new information coming in. We have learned that one lane is now open heading eastbound on the I-40 bridge. So this is going to bring some relief for those people that have been just sitting at a standstill heading into Arkansas, or heading into Tennessee from Arkansas. So you could see traffic beginning to move a little bit there. But again, with this being just one lane, it's going to take some time for people to kind of filter in and traffic to get flowing. Traffic backed up more than 10 miles. So this is a major impact for people heading into Memphis from Arkansas. One of the industries most impacted, as you can imagine, is the freight industry, trying to transport items. They've been sitting in this traffic since before 10 o'clock this morning. So again, one lane in the eastbound, heading eastbound, is now open for drivers to be able to start making their way into Memphis. But this has just been a difficult situation, because initially when we heard from Dave Parker, he was talking about the alternate route being, of course, the I-55 bridge. But there's also an emergency situation happening on the I-55 bridge. Here's a look at the iDrive Arkansas map right now. You can see where the traffic is backed up here. You can see this alert here about an accident that took place right there on the bridge. We understand that this was a deadly crash, and you can see emergency responders still out at that scene right now. No traffic even going through, so all the lanes are blocked off at this point. And so we are just kind of following the situation, because right now people really aren't able to get moving and get into the Memphis area. But again, new information coming in is that there is one lane now open eastbound on the new bridge, the I-40 bridge, the one where emergency responders are working on a rescue situation right now, trying to see if they can help this individual that was said to have gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge to the underneath part of the bridge and was said to be on a platform. So they've called in additional vehicles to help respond to this and to try to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. I want to get back, though. We have another angle. I know these cameras, the TDOT SmartWay cameras, are a bit shaky, and so I want to get back to, let me see here. See if I can work on getting this back up for you. My apologies. So we have, here we go, a live crew out there. Our photographer has been out here for some time now, and this is a closer look at that emergency response that's taking place right now on the I-40 bridge. Additional vehicles have been called in to help facilitate the next steps, but I've been watching this live footage, or this live video here, and I haven't seen much change. They brought in that one white vehicle that you can see in the background. They've brought that vehicle in to help respond, but at this point they haven't used it for anything at this point. And but you can see the volume of emergency responders trying to figure out what their next steps are going to be. And we're going to stick along with you, and as this continues to progress. Let me go back to Twitter. Let me see if I can find out some more information. I'm following several different authorities. The latest, as we told you, is that one lane is now open on the I-40 bridge. Perfect. All right, so again, a live look, I-40 emergency responders trying to deal with this rescue situation that we've been telling you about. We started here on the digital desk just after the midday show, but we first brought this to you as breaking news during midday. And so we continue to follow this for you. We want to make sure that we bring you the latest information, and that includes one lane now open on the I-40 bridge heading eastbound from Arkansas into Tennessee. For several hours, the traffic has been sitting at a standstill. It's just been a parking lot. I'm sure a lot of drivers frustrated, but again, this is an emergency situation, and emergency responders have to do what they have to do to make sure that they can take care of what's going on. At one point, we saw several people getting out of their car and just standing on the side of the road because they hadn't moved in some time. And this paints the picture for you. You see it right here. This is what the scene has been for a while now, over getting close to 3 hours now. And so one lane, as you again, if you have the Action News 5 app, you just got a news push about how there is now one lane open on I-40 heading towards Tennessee. So if you don't have the Action News 5 app on your phone, I download it. It gives you the latest information, and especially when we have breaking news situations like this, it gives you the latest information as fast as possible. So again, if you didn't get that news alert, we've been telling you, if you're just joining us here on our live stream, one lane now open on I-40, but this has been the traffic mess that people have been dealing with. And it's been even more of a mess because there's also been a deadly crash on the I-55 bridge. So not only are you dealing with this rescue situation on the I-40 bridge, but also a deadly crash on the I-55 bridge. So traffic hasn't been moving, and there really isn't another alternate route unless people want to head way further north and try to get into the state through Dyersburg. And other than that, I'm not aware of maybe another way to get into town outside of that. But again, that's well out of the way. So people have just been sitting here in the parking. It's just a parking lot. But again, traffic now moving about one lane rather is confirmed to be open heading eastbound into the Memphis area. This is another live look. It gives you a close-up eye view of what's happening. Emergency responders have been working to figure out their next step in responding to this. But we haven't seen much movement at this point or gotten any new information from authorities that are out on the scene. Memphis Fire Department, Memphis Police out here working to resolve this issue that's been going on for about 3 hours now. For those of you just joining us, I'm going to circle back, fill you in on what we know right now. This is breaking news that we're following, and it involves a rescue situation on the I-40 bridge, eastbound. So that's anyone that is traveling from Arkansas into Memphis. Traffic has been shut down, completely shut down, for about 3 hours, and we're just learning that one lane is now open. So after 3 hours, traffic is now starting to move, but again, it's just one lane. So we know the backup was more than 10 miles. So as you can imagine, trying to filter all of those vehicles that have been sitting here in traffic for 3 hours with one lane, it's still going to take a lot of time for people to get through. And then those that are moving through in that one lane are needing to go very slow because there are emergency responders out there. And so traffic is going to be congested for some time. And it's probably going to stay that way before it really starts clearing up and things start to get moving again. The latest information, we have confirmed preliminary information from the Memphis Police Department. They responded out there just before 10 o'clock, so 9:47. Okay, perfect. We have another crew member that is out now working to bring you some more information. Our Walter Murphy is out there right now, and so we're working to get his camera set up. We're going to try to get to him momentarily. But this is a traffic map I want to show you. Let me take down this live bug here, and you can see how bad this backup is. Goes well. So traffic right there at that interchange, the I-55, I-40 interchange, traffic is backed up well past that. So you could see that this is causing a lot of problems. West Memphis traffic really congested on I-70 or Interstate 70 there. And so, or Highway 70 rather, excuse me. But yeah, this has been a traffic mess for a lot of people because there have been two different emergency situations that have been unfolding here. One, a deadly crash on the I-55 bridge. So initially, Dave Parker, the public information officer for RDOT, was telling people that that's going to be the way to go, the I-55 bridge, but then you run into the crash, this situation. So it's completely shut down right now. And then you have the situation right now on the I-40 bridge, where we have learned that there was an individual. TDOT notified the Memphis Police Department that there was an individual that was seen that went over the edge to the underneath side of the bridge. They were on a platform, and so they're now working to figure out their next steps with that. I mentioned Walter Murphy. He's out live. Okay, cool. So he is out there. Walter Murphy is out there. He's working to get set up to be able to speak with us shortly. But this is the scene right now, up close and personal, as emergency responders are trying to figure out what they're going to do next. So I want to get now to the backup, because I mentioned this is going back very, very far, several miles past the I-55 interchange. So right where the interstate splits off, I-55 headed north, and then I-40. And so traffic really still not moving at this point that far back. We mentioned one lane now open on the I-40 bridge, but it's going to take a while for traffic to really begin to flow when there's only one lane open, and traffic there's been 3 hours that's passed where traffic hasn't moved. So if you know someone that's sitting in this traffic and they're wanting to know what's going on, send them a text, let them know that traffic will eventually begin moving. They have one lane open, but right now, patience is going to be key. And it's difficult when you're in a situation like this, when you've been sitting in a car for 3 hours, not moving at all. It's frustrating. And, you know, if you don't know what's going on, especially, it's very difficult to be patient. And then you also have to consider the fact that it's hot. We're getting into the summer months. People concerned also about gas. You know, there's people that maybe gas light comes on, they're stuck in traffic, they don't really have any choice, they can't move, they can't go anywhere else. So this obviously is a very frustrating situation. This is a main thoroughfare for freight traffic, so there are a lot of semis that have been stuck in this traffic, which is of course going to impact a lot of different industries that are waiting for their product to be delivered and their items and materials to be delivered. And so when things like this happen on such a busy interstate, I mean, the I-40, I-55 interstate is one that just carries a high volume of traffic, especially that freight traffic. So a major concern for people. And I see Walter. Walter, give me the thumbs up if you can hear me, if you can join us here on the digital desk. All right, good deal. So we have Walter Murphy. He has just made it out to the situation that we've been sharing with you here on the Action News 5 digital desk. Walter, I know you just got out there, but any information that you can share with us right now?
You know, not much more than what you've been saying all morning on the digital desk, but, you know, we've seen drones that have been deployed. They were up. I do not see them right now, but as you can see behind me, I'm not sure if you actually can see it.
Yeah, we're in West.
Yeah, we're in West.
Walter, I don't know if I lost your microphone. I'm not hearing you right now.
We're probably about 2 minutes.
She says she's not hearing me.
Oh, I got you now. I got you, Walter.
Hi.
My apologies.
Can you hear me?
If you can, yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
Back.
So basically, you can see that there is one lane of traffic. It's that inner eastbound lane that is open to traffic coming from Arkansas into Memphis. And then you can also see on those outer lanes, there are still a few Memphis Fire Department trucks there, and there are Memphis Police Department vehicles as well. Now, they brought in a bucket truck not long ago, and I didn't see it personally get deployed, but they were searching for something. Now, I spoke with a representative from the Memphis Police Department who told me that they're not quite sure right now. They have not gotten eyes on a person per se, but the call initially came in from the Tennessee Department of Transportation. They came about 9:47 this morning. Now, they said that there was someone who had gone over the edge of I-40 and they were underneath the side, walking the platform. Now, the Memphis Police Department and the Memphis Fire Department, again, they're both here trying to make contact with that individual, and that they have opened up that eastbound lane. But I'm not sure if Chrysler can show you that when they say that he was walking the platform underneath, it's kind of in the middle of the I-40 bridge right here. You can see it. Now again, we've had eyes on it for the past couple of hours, and we have not seen anyone walking on it yet, but they are still searching for someone that they believe may have gone over the side of the bridge and potentially walked that platform underneath. And again, we're going to throw it back to you guys in on the digital desk right now. We're going to stay out here and try to get more information. As that becomes available, we'll pop back on and update you. But for now, reporting in Memphis, Walter Murphy, Action News 5.
Walter, I appreciate you. If you can get Chrysler to zoom back in on that scene, because this is the first movement we've seen on that scene. They've brought in that bucket truck, and you can see now that they are slowly lowering that bucket truck down, hopefully trying to make contact with that individual that was said to be beneath the bridge on that platform, which, you know, Walter, you were talking about that. That's just so scary to even imagine being on that platform. It's not a very wide platform. And again, this is the rescue situation that we've been following for some time. And so we'll get back to this in just a minute. I know that they're working to adjust their cameras. I want to get now, though, Sydney Hawkins. She's moved to a different location. I know that you were on kind of on a service road, maybe near a freight station or weight station. Tell me where you are now, Sydney, and what you've been able to find out since we talked to you last.
Hey, good morning or good afternoon now. The day is just starting to merge together. We are in West Memphis now. We continued westbound along I-40 to kind of get away from that. We're in West Memphis at a Pilot gas station, a Wendy's, just kind of talking to some people who decided to do the same thing. Earlier this morning, Amanda, we heard you talk about the people who were stuck in their cars, who may not have had enough gas or food or water, or maybe even a cell phone charge. I'm struggling with the charge myself this morning, or this afternoon. I can't imagine what the people that are stuck in that standstill traffic are dealing with. Joining me this afternoon is Ms. Paula. You were coming from St. Jude.
I was going to St.
Jude.
From Missouri.
So you decided to get off and dropped off your grandson. Tell me about what you saw as you were coming this way.
Well, I was coming, like I said, from Missouri to St. Jude, and I was going to pick up my grandson. He has had a treatment this morning at St. Jude. I was going to pick up my grandson and take him back for a couple of days to Missouri, and we were stopped dead. I mean, just dead. There was no warning, no nothing, and I was just stopped about. Probably I was there about 35, 40 minutes until I decided to go on the on-ramp, or go on the on-ramp back toward West Memphis, and I've been sitting here waiting for my daughter and my grandson since then. So it's been very frustrating trying to get to him and trying to get him and try to go back home.
And you're lucky that you were in a position that you were able to get off. A lot of people that have been in that traffic for hours, not in any position to get off I-40. Any message to people who are stuck in that traffic as of this afternoon?
Yes, I'm very sorry that you are stuck in that traffic, and yeah, I can't imagine, talking about cell phone service. What if somebody's had a diabetic attack or pregnant or something like that? I was just thinking about that in my car when I was turned around and was able to get out of the traffic. But yeah, I'm sure that's very frustrating to them, and I'm so sorry they're having to deal with that.
Absolutely. Well, safe travels back to Missouri. We are all thinking the same thing this afternoon. Amanda has been saying it all morning. Hopefully those people that are stuck in that traffic have water, food, a charger to charge their cell phones. I think we do know that one lane on I-40 has been opened. Memphis police confirming that a little time ago, so that should alleviate some of that traffic. But again, this is a developing story, and we are working to learn more information as the time goes on. And you can stick with us for those latest developments. For now, I'm live in West Memphis. Sydney Hawkins, Action News 5.
Sydney, thank you so much for your time and sharing that information and people's stories out there. Thank you so much. We'll maybe check back in with you in a little bit if we need to. I want to get back out, though. This is a live look as crews continue to respond to that emergency situation we've been telling you about. That person said to be underneath the I-40 bridge on a platform, and this has been going on since around 9:45 this morning. So this has been an ongoing situation for some time, and it's been causing major delays for people. You just heard from someone that was trying to get to St. Jude. And so, they were talking about the concern with people being stuck in traffic for that long, over 3 hours. They mentioned someone may be diabetic, having a diabetic emergency, losing cell phone, not having your cell phone, your battery may be dying, worrying about running out of gas. But again, this is a very serious situation right now. All hands on deck. Memphis Police, Memphis Fire Department, you see they brought in a bucket truck to try to respond to this situation to hopefully resolve it and help that individual and bring them to safety. So again, the information that we've been able to confirm for you as of now, preliminary information from the Memphis Police Department saying that just around 9:47, TDOT reached out to them. They said, hey, there's an individual that we understand has gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge and now underneath the bridge on a platform there. So they were said to be walking on that platform. So now we're just trying to see what their next steps are going to be. They lowered the bucket truck. It didn't seem like it did much for them. I'm not sure what their next steps are going to be as far as that goes. But again, they've called in additional vehicles and crews to help them resolve the situation. We did mention to you that one lane is now open, the eastbound lane. So those that are traveling from Arkansas into Memphis, this has been just a traffic nightmare for people. And when you're sitting in traffic for that long, it can be so frustrating. I can understand. But again, this is an emergency situation. And so these emergency responders have to do what they can to be able to help this individual. So this has caused some major delays. Initially, we talked with Dave Parker with RDOT, and he was just saying, you know, take the I-55 bridge. That's going to be your alternate route. But then we ended up learning about a deadly crash on the I-55 bridge, and that's still impacting drivers right now. I have a live look. This camera pretty shaky, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. It looks like traffic is beginning to move at least in one lane on the I-55 bridge heading eastbound. So this was completely shut down. So now traffic is beginning to move, but traffic is backed up for more than 10 miles. If you're familiar, if you drive through Arkansas often, you know there's that interchange where it splits off to I-55 and I-40. Well, traffic was backed up well past that. And I want to see if I can show you. I'm going to work to let me take you back to that live look here, so you can follow along, and we'll see if anything progresses as far as this rescue situation goes. It looks like they're preparing some other type of equipment or tools to help them maybe take their next step. I'm going to try to pull up a traffic map for you so you can see the situation. So here you go. This is a traffic flow map, and you could see the interchange there. You see where Presley Junction is. Traffic is backed up well past that, especially on I-40. It's backed up pretty far on there. There's not many cameras that I can see that go that far back. Let's see if I can pull it up here on my other computer. Zoom out. Yeah, this goes back for several miles on I-40. I'm going to show you this other map here. You can see where it goes all the way back. So there's the interchange there, and then well back several miles. And people, I mean, these vehicles, I mean, traffic's not moving at all. I know I mentioned that there was that one lane that's now open on both the I-55 bridge and also the I-40 bridge heading eastbound into Memphis, but with one lane open and people sitting in traffic for just over 3 hours now, it's going to be a while before anything starts moving this far back as far as traffic goes. But I want to get back, because this is really where we're wanting to focus our attention here. This is that live look on the I-40 bridge. And you can see emergency responders on the phone, working to prepare other equipment. And you can see our photographer there zooming in on the underneath part of the bridge. And so we mentioned that they had gone over the edge onto the underside of the bridge onto the platforms. And so here our camera is panning, and these are the platforms that we're talking about. So they're very, very narrow, and this is a serious situation right now. It looks like that might be the individual that's on the platform. It's not clear, but it looked like that may have been a person. Let's see if our camera will pan back, because it looked like that may, right, if we can go back, I don't know if our photographer is listening to me here on the digital desk, but I really think that I saw maybe the person that is said to be on the underneath side of the bridge. if our photographer is listening in on IFB, if they can pan their camera to the left slowly, you could see, it looked like I could have sworn that I saw someone. Let's see. We're just going to stay on this shot, and we're going to see if our photographer is able to zoom back in and maybe slowly pan across, because it looked like you maybe could see the person that they're working to try to rescue from underneath the bridge that was said to be on a platform on the underneath side of the bridge. So this is really a scary situation when you think about it. It's very serious, and that's why emergency responders have shut down such a large portion of the bridge. But if our photographer, I don't know if we can get Adam Chrysler to dial into IFB 7 or 8. There was, we may have seen, I think we saw that person on the platform further to the right. Here's the traffic flow map again, just to show you the impact that this is having on traffic, because it's massive, and it's been this way for over 3 hours now. And so that red there just shows you where traffic really isn't moving at all. We do know that on the I-55 bridge, it was shut down for some time, completely shut down because of a fatal crash, a deadly crash, now open to one lane. The I-40 bridge, where that rescue situation is taking place right now, one lane in the eastbound, heading eastbound, is now open as well. But with this traffic that was backed up and stopped for so long, it's going to take a while for things to really start moving. And so this is impacting a lot of people. We heard from a woman that was trying to get to St. Jude that is now turning around and heading back to Missouri because of this traffic situation. So I'm looking now on Twitter, trying to see if I can find any new information for you. I'm following several different emergency agencies right now. Nothing new, it appears. But several emergency crews are out here right now. You can see the fire trucks, Memphis Fire Department, Memphis Police Department. A bucket truck was even brought in, and they had lowered the bucket truck underneath the edge of the bridge, and we're working to try to figure out what their next steps are going to be from here. So I'm going to sit here on this shot. I'm going to see if I can find out some more information, maybe get another reporter, one of our reporters that are out on the scene, and maybe talk to us again. But right now, this is really where a lot of the action is taking place, and really where we're going to see hopefully some movement in this rescue situation. For those of you just joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm going to do a quick recap on what we are dealing with right now as we continue to follow some breaking news. I-40 bridge, now traffic beginning to crawl at this point. One lane now said to be open on the I-40 bridge. If you have the news app, you've been getting the push alerts, you probably are familiar with the situation, but I'm going to fill you in on what we know right now. Crews are working to rescue one person that's said to be beneath the bridge. Memphis police notified about this just before 10 o'clock this morning. They were told that someone had gone over the edge of the I-40 bridge. They were underneath it on one of the platforms. So you can see underneath the bridge, there are those little platforms, and that's where they're saying this person went. And ever since that time, they've been working to try to find this person, try to rescue this person and help them. So emergency crews immediately went out there, Memphis Fire Department, Memphis Police, and this is the scene. What you're seeing right now, this is a live look. We've had two different crews that have been out there following this. We talked to Sydney Hawkins just a moment ago. She has been talking to people that were impacted by this, one being a truck driver, the other a woman that was trying to get to St. Jude, pulled off after the traffic really started building up, and she said she's now turning around and heading back. But this has been a major traffic concern for several hours now. And so there's a lot of people that are stuck in this traffic, and it goes back for more than 10 miles. So it's very broad, widespread. It's impacting a lot of people. And I'm very far back where traffic is. It's not moving at all at this point because there's only one lane open. And so all of these cars are now trying to merge into that one lane. They're trying to slowly crawl through. And emergency crews are still working to respond to this. There hasn't been any resolution at this point. So we're just waiting to see what's going to be next. They've called in a bucket truck that they lowered down over the edge probably about 15 minutes ago. I'm not sure what their next steps are going to be, but again, that individual is said to be underneath the bridge on one of those platforms, and they're really narrow. Our photographer was panning underneath the bridge a little bit earlier, and it's very narrow. And so this is just an emergency situation. We're really hoping that this can be resolved and everyone can be okay and that traffic can get moving again, because this is just impacting a lot of people. So we're just hoping to find some answers, some more information. We only have preliminary information right now because right now the focus is on dealing with this rescue situation. And so I understand emergency responders are busy. Looks like the fire trucks are moving. I'm wondering if they're leaving the scene or if they're just maybe hoping to open up 2 lanes on the bridge. That could be the case. They might be trying to move all the emergency vehicles over to the furthest lane and open up. All right, so Memphis Police have just updated some more information. Let me get this refreshed for you and see what I can. Okay, so Memphis Police just posted a new tweet. We've got Walter here. I'll probably go to him in just a second. I don't know if you hear me, Walter. I'll come to you in just a moment. I want to get here at Memphis Police Department. They just posted a new tweet. They said that they're assisting TDOT. They're checking on their bridge. They were unable to locate anyone. So the scene will soon clear. Okay, so initially we were told that there was somebody that had gone over the edge of the bridge underneath on the platforms, but now Memphis Police saying after checking under the bridge, they were unable to locate anyone. So now, and you can see here, literally 49 seconds after they send that tweet, you can see these emergency responders now making their way off the bridge. So from what it appears, after evaluating and investigating, there is nothing new to report other than they weren't able to locate anybody underneath the bridge. So they're clearing the scene now. You can see the emergency response, the fire trucks moving, the bucket truck that they called in that they had lowered over the edge of the bridge to check underneath is now leaving as well. So traffic will soon be back open and flowing on the I-40 bridge. I'm going to try to pull up the RDOT cameras here, and maybe we can get a different view here. But you can see that bucket truck now moving out from the I-40 bridge. And if anything, if they were unable to locate somebody, they couldn't locate anyone, then nothing. This situation has been resolved, and thankfully no one seemed to be injured or needing help or assistance. And so traffic now beginning to move again on the I-40 bridge, which is bringing some much needed relief to those drivers that have been sitting in traffic for 3 hours now. And so traffic now beginning to move. And I'm working to get these traffic cameras up for you. We know a lot of people celebrating in their cars now, knowing that traffic is now going to be opening up and people can start making their way across the bridge. Let's see if I can get another angle here. Nope. So traffic now going to start moving. You can see here where a lot of people were trying to merge into that one lane because it was only one lane open. But now with emergency responders making their way, leaving the scene, and not being able to locate anyone on the bridge. Good news for us. You just got that push alert about that new information on that I-40 rescue. Now learning that they were not able to locate anyone. So traffic's going to soon start moving. All lanes are going to be open up shortly as emergency responders start clearing the lanes where they've been spending their time on this operation, this rescue operation that is now behind us. So traffic will begin moving in the near future. But again, with traffic being so far back and so congested, it's going to take some time for things to get back to normal, but at least we are seeing some relief that traffic, the lanes are open back up, and soon this traffic that's backed up well past the interchange will start moving. And good news to report. Let's see. So here we go. Live look right now. I-40 bridge traffic moving. A lot of people celebrating after being stuck in this traffic for a while. So people are very thankful to be moving. So traffic moving now, people, traffic starting to flow, lanes back open. We are still dealing with that fatal crash, though, on the I-55 bridge that's impacting traffic there. You can see that there. There's still a number of emergency responders on the scene there, from what we understand, because of a deadly crash. But again, I-40 seeing relief this afternoon. Traffic now back open on I-40, and people can start moving. So that's going to wrap up our coverage here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you for joining in, tuning in with us, following along as this breaking news was developing. Again, Memphis police unable to locate anyone on the bridge after 3 hours of investigating, bringing in several different resources, including a bucket truck. But again, as I mentioned, lanes, traffic starting to flow there on I-40, and soon that backup that went for miles will soon be back moving and making their way into the Memphis area. I'm Amanda Hansen. Thank you for following along with us, and we'll have the latest news tonight on Action News 5.